All on Front Street is where the truth takes center stage and no topic is tucked away. This is unapologetic, unfiltered, a podcast that puts the real out front, where the conversations that matter, stories they don't want told, and the voices the mainstream tries to silence. From entertainers and authors to influencers, journalists, and independent business owners. No guest is off limits and no conversation is too raw. If it's shaking culture, exposing industry games, or breaking generational curses, it's going on Front Street. Expect bold interviews, streetwise commentary, behind the scenes revelations, and moments that'll make you laugh, gasp, or rethink everything you thought you knew. Thought you thought.
Yo, yo. Yo, 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 yo.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Like going to an old hip hop cipher and everybody's like, yo, yo, check it. Yo, yo, yo. Check it out. Before they got into their ride.
Yeah, why was that? I'm like, yeah, was that the warm up? Like, hey, yo.
I guess.
Yeah.
Man, fond memories. So anyways,
yeah.
Welcome back to All Out on Front Street. And so there's some interesting things. Like there's a lot of wild, weird things popping off this week. You know, all kinds of crazy stuff going on. But I'm looking at this new racial debate that's happening, and it's based around fashion.
Okay.
And it's confusing, but I think it deserves some kind of conversation, because I think, you know, a lot of people appreciate the aspect of the point of view that we come from. It's really not the typical of what everyone else is talking about. And so let's talk about it. Jeans. Let's talk about blue jeans, American blue jeans, two blue jeans company. And apparently it's supposed to be like this silent race war happening between American Eagles jeans and Levi's. Now, Miss Sweeney, let me get her name, because I don't want to put anybody's name, you know, wrong. But she's Sydney Sweeney, that's her name.
Okay.
And she did this ad for American Eagles jeans. And so, you know, and she's a beautiful girl. She is, you know, your A-type, blonde, blue-eyed, Caucasian girl. Beautiful. Nothing wrong with any of that. And nothing wrong with being able to get, you know, a dope campaign with a major brand. Salute to her. I mean, I was Levi's self-engineered, you know, so I understand, you know, especially being a young artist coming up. It's good to have brand tie-ins, to a certain extent, all dependent on what the requirements are that come along with it. But, you know, salute to her anyway. So Miss Sweeney, she has this new campaign, and she's in her blue jeans. She's a young woman, and you know, it does the slow scan, you know, up from her legs to her face, and of course it passes over her ample bosom, and she's dressed in this denim, and she's talking about how jeans are passed on from one human being to another, and how, you know, you get this from your mom, you get this from your dad, and whoopty-whoopty-woo, and these jeans, this is what makes you. And she said, my jeans are blue. And that's it. That's the ad. Now, could we read a lot into that? Absolutely. Could we read nothing into it? Absolutely. She's wearing blue jeans, she's blonde hair, blue eyes, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this is what she said. Do I think that it is a silent campaign for you to immediately join your nearest Aryan nation group and start, you know, preparing for the apocalypse? No, I don't. Do I think there's some subliminal messaging in there? I think there's subliminal messaging in everything we listen to. I think this campaign is no more divisive than most of the hip hop songs that I hear being played, or the rap songs that I hear being played on whatever radio station I might bump into throughout the week. So I think people was just going a little far with that. But then Beyonce's ad, and you know she's got the deal with Levi's, and you know she's doing the country thing, and she's wearing the jeans or whatever the case may be, I guess. And now she does an ad, and you know they're like, oh, they're trying to compete. Beyonce is trying to compete with Sydney Sweeney, and oh, this is racial, and this is racial, and this one represents this, and this one represents that, and it's funny because they were talking about how Levi's is like attached to like some douchebag. And I'm just like, okay, there's all kind of subliminal shots being thrown. And I just so happened to listen to some commentary from Megyn Kelly. And I'm not saying that I'm a Megyn Kelly fan, but from one opinionated, intelligent person to another, I can respect, you know, some of what she says. Can't say I agree with it, but I can have respect for I have more respect for her than I do for Candace Owens. I'll say that. And it's funny because watching Megyn Kelly, I never really paid attention to the fact of how much Candace Owens has crafted her persona and the way she attacks, you know, topics and situations very, very similar to Megyn Kelly. So, you know, shout out to your heroes. But so, you know, they were just sitting there talking about how people were reaching, and they were talking about the drawbacks to DEI, and just, you know, how there was all of this white shame, and, you know, they're constantly trying to make, you know, white women feel bad about being white women, and whatever the case may be. And you know what? It's America. The truth is, this is a racially our country, we rely too much on race. There's too much. It's just a lot. It's a lot. And because it's America, people literally can go off on the deep end on a racial conversation when it really doesn't have anything to do with it at all. So I'm sitting there and I'm listening to what she's saying. And you know what? If I were a white woman, I would probably feel the way she feels too. But as a black woman, I find it twice as offensive, because the DEI thing didn't even have anything to do with Black Americans. It wasn't even really for us. It was something that was disguised to be for us, that opened up the door for a bunch of other things and other agendas that were going on. So here we are. You have Sydney Sweeney, you have Beyonce. But then Megyn Kelly started just pointing out some really, really, really key things. Sydney Sweeney was being herself in that ad. She is Caucasian. She has light eyes. She is fair skin. She has blonde hair. Beyonce is African American, or at least she's supposed to be. And she looked almost as white as Sydney Sweeney did in her ad. Platinum blonde hair, very, very, very light skin. I mean, but I've been saying this for a while when it comes to Beyonce. Like that one picture of her at the Grammys, when they took the picture of her and Meryl Streep, I could barely tell the two of them apart. Like they were damn near the same complexion. And I'm like, what in the colorist is going on here? But, you know, I digress. But I'm just sitting there and I'm listening to Megyn Kelly, and she's picking the whole Beyonce campaign apart. And the truth is I couldn't argue with anything that she said, because I thought the same thing. All of the over-exaggerated photoshopping of the extra curve of this and that, the platinum blonde hair, the too much makeup. And meanwhile, Sydney Sweeney was sitting there just looking like a corn-fed little girl from Idaho who milked cows on her, you know, on the farm. Like, She was being natural. Whatever they want to say about it, she was. She was being natural. What was Beyonce being? And then Megyn Kelly starts to go into the fact, but God help anybody who say anything, because if you say anything about Beyonce, then a big scary husband is going to come after you, and they're going to bully you, and they're going to do this, and they're going to do that, and they're rigging the game, and they're doing all of this because they're supposed to be worshipped and praised, but they can't ever be criticized. But then y'all want to turn around and y'all want to criticize this young girl who's literally just being herself. It's a fabulous point when you think about it. Because why are we turning this into this kind of critical thing? And it's funny because in the midst of all of this going on and everything that Megyn Kelly's saying, we got Sean Carter's nephew coming out and attacking Ramir Sattaway because they're mad that this man is not getting his way for once. For the first time in almost 2 decades in court. So now it's just tapping everybody that I know to come after you and to embarrass you and to bully you and to clown you. So once again, you're actually validating what Megyn Kelly is saying in this moment. But then I'm looking at it from a whole nother angle. Because what I see is not that any of these conversations really matter, whether any of these conversations have validity. I'm looking at what it's doing for these two companies. It's creating, we're on this side, we're on that side. It's creating all of this controversy around blue jeans. These are blue jeans. It's just blue jeans. We got race wars. We've got social the judgments. We got picking this one apart, picking that one apart, putting this on this. But you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of all of those fake hip hop battles that they generate to sell records. This rapper gets out online and says this about somebody's baby mom, and then this one comes back and says this about someone's baby dad. Then the next thing you know, this one is fighting this one, and then that one's coming after that one. And then guess what? I'm gonna put out my record. And now next thing you know, you got bank exchange, you got commerce.
Right.
Like that's what this whole thing is looking like to me. It's looking like a rap battle going too far, but over blue jeans instead. I don't know. What do you think?
That's essentially what the thing is. You can polarize people by, regions, race, sex, sexuality, or whatever, all that, right? So
which ad came out first? Was it
Sweeney, the American
Sweeney's
Eagle
first?
ad came out first. Yeah. And of course they made a big deal about it because President Trump said, if she's a Republican, I love it. You know what I mean? And he was like, I love the ad, or whatever the case may be. They were asking him what he thought, which of course they was just throwing more gas on the fire to get the beef going. Because now they want to, oh yeah, well of course Trump thinks it's great because he's a this and he's a that. Meanwhile, the only thing that this is doing is encouraging sales between these two companies. And I can see why Levi would want to jump in and want to be a part of this whole little fake jean war, because they didn't do very good last year when they came out. Remember? You remember they did the Beyonce ad, and it was right around the time that Diddy got arrested, and then the autistic victim from Alabama who was 13 at the time when she fingered the Jigga Man and the diddler for doing something to her. That was all around the time of that campaign, and that campaign fell through the floor. It underperformed very greatly. So I don't know, maybe this was Levi's way this year of making it more bulletproof to kind of bolster sales, to trick the black dollar into buying Levi's, because you don't want to buy the American Eagles jeans because those are the jeans of the white racist supremacist and the whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop,
Yeah.
It's interesting subliminal marketing.
Well, it definitely was subliminal because the great genes is a subliminal message, meaning, like genetics instead of the genes that we put our, and it's a play on that. But then, you look at her background. I think is she Irish, but she's definitely Caucasian. Or it could be that last name could be like a French surname too. So they're playing off of a lot of stuff.
They're playing off of a whole lot of stuff. And it's funny because she was also in The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Handmaid's Tale. I used to watch that. But she's had a very, very, very interesting. She's from Spokane, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
She's literally, from the boonies. Like, she's.
Well, there's a lot of if you know about that area, if you know about Montana, there's a lot of people. Yeah, it's Spokane is not far from Montana, so yeah, they're playing on the racial division.
Absolutely.
When it comes to this campaign. So if American Eagle dropped it first and then Levi's decide they're going to do this, it's all a play so that they could generate controversy, get somebody like we wouldn't be talking about it unless it was controversial. And that's the thing, anything that jumps out and it's racialized, or like I said, the play on the words has great genes as opposed to someone like black, maybe they don't have great genes.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying?
But the black person that they have in the Levi's ad that's supposed to be competing with it, apparently she don't want to be black either.
Well, we know that.
That's the sad part. No, but that's the sad part about it.
Yeah.
She don't want to be black either. Her hair is lighter than the Caucasian girls. Her skin is almost like.
I did see that one ad, and Beyonce looked like a white woman. I said, "Wait, what's part of the game?" And she had the blonde. It was crazy. It was crazy.
But that's my thing, though. How are you going to make this a racial conversation when neither one of the people modeling in the ads look black? That's what's wild. Neither one of them look black.
Yeah.
One of them actually isn't. One of them actually is. So what does that say?
Okay. Well,
like, honestly, the Levi's campaign should really make all black people, especially black women, depressed, because what it's saying is that innately we choose people to represent the part of our community that don't even want to be us.
Oh, so now I'm understanding. It was a reason why. Who was it? I went on Twitter and someone was like, Beyonce is cultural appropriating, and I'm like, what the hell are y'all talking about? It's because she was wearing blue or blonde hair. So
platinum blonde.
Yeah, they said she was a cultural appropriator.
With the creamy white skin to go along with it.
I said, oh, they are slick. Some white woman. It was a white woman, but yeah, they're trying to make this whole thing racial because that's a division.
It gets the people going. It's provocative, I guess.
Yeah,
it gets the people going. But that's sad because the truth is we're all supposed to be American.
Well, yeah,
we're supposed to be American, and color isn't supposed to be the driving factor in any way, shape, or form. We're supposed to be American. But it's gonna do what it do, and I guess this is school time. They need people to go to the store and buy clothes, so they gonna find. I mean, it's a hell of a rap beef for blue jeans.
Mm-hmm.
I when I looked at it, I was just like, there's so many things wrong with all of this here, right here.
Yeah.
There's just so many things wrong with all of this.
Well, yeah. The vision is
the name of the game right now. And I guess for the most part, I mean, as long as we don't fall for it, but I see why you pointed it out.
Yeah, because that's what we do. We point out the things that are hanging right out there in front of everybody's face like a big nasty booger that don't nobody seem to want to wipe away. But meanwhile, while people are looking through all of these things and we're going back and forth over, you know, are you going to buy this blue jean or that blue jean, and this person wore this and that person wore that, people are running around crying about not being able to afford their own groceries. Or trying to figure out how long it's going to be before they before they have to choose the car note or the grocery bill and stuff like that. Like, there are so many other perplexing things that are going on. How are blue jeans, you know, a relevant conversation at this point?
Right.
You know, why are we not talking about, you know, it's funny because some of these corporations that are robbing the American people blind right now, and, you know, forcing people into a state of desperation, you know, as far as shopping and buying goods and things of that nature, they're doing paperless, you know, price tags now, so that they can jack up the price or change the price at a whim whenever they want to, and mess people all up, mess their money all up. Like, it's wild. It's wild. And guess what? Everybody's sitting there, oh, the big beautiful bill, it did this, and we're suffering. But, you know, why is it that nobody ever holds the corporations accountable for their greed? Because the truth is, they don't have to hike the prices up by 20%, 30%, 50%. Now, yeah, if there's a fluctuation because of the tariffs, that's perfectly fine. I could see if you make a slight adjustment. But what they're trying to do is make sure that their pockets don't take a hit at all, and that the consumers that are making them wealthy are paying for everything. No different than with all of the lawsuits for the tobacco industry. Rather than them paying it out and taking the hit for a product that they sold that hurt and harmed people, no, they just raised the price of the people that continue to buy their product, so they didn't have to lose a dollar. And my thing is we look at all of this stuff. We here we go. Let's take it back, all the way back to the jeans. Circle back to the jeans.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody talking about how much money these things cost?
Yeah.
Or how much they're going to be sold for at this store or that store or whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. Like, y'all worried about all of this stuff. Everybody's worried about all the wrong things. But I'm just trying to figure it out. When are Americans going to stop saying that the government is responsible for every financial problem that we have, rather than looking at the companies and the corporations that we give our money to day after day after day, and never demand any respect as consumers? Because I tell you one thing, if we all decided we were going to boycott as a nation, boycott Walmart, Target for a week, I bet you they'd be ready to drop their prices in and just take, you know, I mean, they don't need all of the money that they're making, but they're going to keep taking it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just, you can't be mad at these people for taking advantage of the American public when we just keep letting them do it. All it takes is a slick campaign and a racially charged subliminal campaign to get people to spend their money on one thing or the other, or a doll or some new cereal, and people are just ready to run the store and spend all of their money, and they don't think twice about it.
Mm-hmm.
Why ain't we more discerning with what we spend our money on and where we spend our money? I don't know. But I tell you one thing, they spending a lot of time arguing about who's white, who's black, and what's good and what's bad and what's this and what's that, and all it's doing is dividing us. Meanwhile, we're all being taken advantage of by the same bad guys.
Yep. draining our pockets, draining our energy, draining our emotional time, all that, because
Yeah.
the main thing is distraction and to keep people in a loop. So we got to get out here and hustle. And most of us, it's really, this is the beginning of, showing who the haves and who the have-nots are, because a lot of people are just like, hey, guess what? I'm not tripping on no this. I got to go eat. I got to feed my kids. I got to this. I got to make decisions. Do I get my medication or do I get my food? You get what I'm saying? So yeah. There's a lot.
Funny thing is, if your food was your medication, you might not need that medication.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of crazy things that people spend money on that they're not paying attention to. So I guess I say all of that to say there's a lot of hype going on out here. But the things that we're allowing to divide us, they really shouldn't be the things that we should be focusing on. We should be focusing on the things that are going to pull us together as a country, because we really all need to start learning how to work together better for a better future, because this ain't it. Arguing about blue jeans and who's white and who's black and who's racist and who's not and who's really blonde, like all of this stuff, it's wild.
Well, again, that's the goal. That's the goal. That's just to keep you distracted. That's the goal. But yeah, we'll probably see a lot more of these
types of we want to say psyops in the future. Just as long as we put them out there on Front Street, that's all that matters. Y'all got to peep the game, and y'all got to know what games are being played on this.
All right, and you got to choose which game you want to allow yourself to play and which game you going to bow out of, because for real, their games only work when we choose to play them.
Yeah, indeed. All right.
On that note,